Winners of 3 consecutive series, the Mariners head up to my neck of the woods for a weekend battle with the Blue Jays. We'll get you set for it coming up here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Friday, April 18th, 2025. This is Tidy Gonzalez and Colby Patnode for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. Mariners are in Toronto for the next 3 days to face the Blue Jays. We'll get you set for the series and talk a little bit about what they're going to do with the bullpen. And actually, let's start with that because seems safe to assume that at least Andres Munoz and Edward Bizardo are going to be down for today's game after all the workload that they've had over the last couple of days. Bizardo threw 32 pitches yesterday. Munoz has pitched on back-to-back days. It's also very possible that Gabe Spire, who's pitched on back-to-back days, also unavailable, as well as Carlos Vargas, who pitched on back-to-back days. So the Mariners have, 4 possible relievers heading into this game tonight. For a team that hasn't gotten many deep starts out of its rotation, you really need Brian Wu to go deep in this game tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But if they do want to add an additional reliever to the mix here, they don't have many options on the 40-man roster, barring someone unexpected getting added to the injured list. If no one gets added to the injured list, then the only 2 guys on the 40-man roster really that are eligible, because Jonathan Diaz pitched last night for Tacoma, are Taylor Saucedo and Blas Castano. Gregory Santos is not eligible because he was just optioned down, and Will Klein is not eligible because he was just optioned down. So it's possible that they go off of the 40-man roster. Their 40-man is at 39 guys right now, and they also have the lever to pull of putting Victor Robles on the 60-day IL. So that's not really an issue there. So if they do add someone here, and they probably already have, and by the time that you're watching this, knowing us, the move has probably been announced. So we'll try and make an educated guess as to who that might be. But if it is someone off of the 40-man, Colby, who do you think that would be?
As in somebody who's on the 40-man, or
said if it's someone off of the 40-man right now.
Yeah, like is it off of the 40-man?
Like I mean, yeah. I mean, someone who's not on the 40-man right now. Yes.
Yeah, I'd probably give the edge to Pomerantz. If I had to pick somebody, he got off to a bit of a rocky start in spring training, but really pitched well in the last few weeks and has continued to do so down there in Tacoma. He also gives Seattle a second lefty, which we know that they prefer to have. And he is a guy who, has got out pitches, unlike some of the other options. So, yeah, I think you trust him to throw strikes for the most part as well. So he has that leg up on Fujinami. So, yeah, if I had to go off the 40-man, then I would probably take Pomerantz. And, obviously it'd be a while before this mattered, but the fastball from that release point is going to play really well at T-Mobile Park. So I think there's a possibility that this is a long-term addition that you can extract value from, more so than just we just need an arm for a couple days. So I'd like to see you do that with Pomerantz. I guess you could go righty because Toronto is a little bit more right-handed heavy than left-handed heavy in their lineup. So I guess if you want to do Fujinami, that's okay. But, if you don't love watching Bizardo pitch, same, like you're getting a very similar pitcher, guy who will just randomly stop being able to throw strikes. So, I think when you're looking at higher floor, probably a higher ceiling even, just relative to what they've done in their big league careers. And I think Pomerantz is the guy to go get. And like I said, the second lefty is really nice. Maybe it's, instead of using Gabe Spire, in the 6th against a couple lefties, you can go to Pomerantz, and then you have Spire for later in the game. But I think the breaking ball and the fastball play really well, and he's looked really good for the last month or so.
So the Mariners would still have to make a corresponding move on the 26-man roster in order to make room for Pomeranz or Saucedo or Jesse Hahn or whoever it winds up being. If they actually make a move, there's always the possibility that they just don't and they just let it rock. Maybe Spire is actually available tonight, so they have 5 guys. But if they do make a move, who do you think gets sent down? Do they actually send down Hancock and run with a 9-man bullpen again and figure out the number 5 spot, down the road? They can push that back, or they can skip that spot with the off day on Monday. Or do they DFA Edward Bizzardo? Do they option down Casey Legamina, which you're basically in the same position that you're in right now if you do that, in terms of just the number of guys you have? What do you think they might do?
Yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle there. I really don't think they're going to DFA Bizzardo after one bad outing, because aside from that, he's been solid. But that possibility of a blow up always does exist with him. So they've kept him for so long. It's hard to imagine they DFA him. But if he's not going to be available for a couple days because he threw all those pitches, and you probably feel pretty comfortable with Legamina, replacing him, then they might DFA him and see if they could sneak him through waivers. But I think it's probably best to do Hancock. Now, if they do it retroactive to after the game yesterday, then they could, in theory, I think they could survive until his spot needed to pitch again and call him up. I think that would be about 10 days. But even if it's not, then you could just call up Jonathan Diaz and kind of replace that way and buy yourself some time. So, yeah, they're in a bit of a pickle because the only guy with the options that you would consider sending down in that bullpen right now is Legamina.
Yeah.
So,
and Legamina's looked good in his 2 appearances.
Sure.
And again, he's, if you send him down and bring someone else up, you're in the same position in terms of bodies that you have. I mean, yeah. I guess, instead of having a guy that's coming off of an appearance yesterday, you have a fresher arm. But now I don't know who pitched last night and who didn't down in the minors, but yeah, I don't know. It's such a minimal bonus, if you even want to call it that. It's probably not the best word to use for it, but yeah. So I don't know what they'll do here. I think the obvious move to me would just be to send down Hancock and figure out the number 5 spot down the road, which would be the Marlins series, I believe, once the Mariners get back to Seattle. At that point, I don't think you could finagle it where Hancock's 10 days would be up, but maybe an injury happens by that point. Hopefully not, knock on wood. But maybe an injury happens at that point that makes him eligible to be called up. Or you have Logan Evans make his major league debut against a team that would be a softer landing for him, like the Marlins.
Mm-hmm. At a good ballpark to pitch in. So
yeah.
Sometimes it feels like a guy gets punished for throwing the ball really well, but that's just the way the musical chairs happen sometimes. And it's like, look, you're not being sent down because you did poorly this time around, but we need an arm. We need an arm, and there's options. There's the option game, there's the DFA game, and all that stuff. So I'd be pretty surprised if they DFA'd anybody to add somebody today, but maybe. I think, Bizzardo, again, if he's not available for this series, then can you go 3 days, a man down in the bullpen when you're saving that spot for Bizzardo? Probably not. Yeah. So it is a possibility, but by the way, I don't know if this factors in this weekend. I don't know if he's healthy or whatever, but JT Chargois was released the other day, and we know the Mariners love them some JT Chargois. So keep an eye on that potential move. But in terms of the series, Pomeranz up, Hancock down is probably what I would do.
Yeah. Or Jesse Hahn, who threw the ball well in his appearance, and unfortunately got DFA'd for it. But he's back with the team. He just signed with them again. So
yeah. The nice thing about Hahn is that you can call him up, put him on the 40-man, and then you could just DFA him again and send him down, and it's not very likely anybody would claim him. You'd probably get him back.
Yeah.
Whereas with Pomeranz, maybe not. So we'll see what they want to do.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Blue Jays and where they're at in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. Whatever it is you need, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivers incredible results. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Mariners and Blue Jays going to battle the next 3 days this weekend. Blue Jays enter the series 11-8, Mariners 10-9. They are technically the hottest team in the American League at the moment. The American League is super mid, but the Mariners 7-3 record over their last 10 games, I believe, is the best record of any team's last 10 games in the American League right now. So the Mariners playing pretty good ball, and as we all predicted, the pitching is actually the issue, and the offense is the saving grace of this team. Naturally, duh. Of course. The Blue Jays hitting the ball pretty well right now. Bo Bichette off to a really nice start. George Springer is having an amazing start to the year. So is Miles Straw, who the Blue Jays got in that deal to add some international bonus pool money in hopes of signing Roki Sasaki, who
they were successful at.
Yeah, totally. But Miles Straw is actually hitting the ball very well. He's slugging like 516 right now, which is insane. So yeah, the Blue Jays getting pretty good production out of their lineup at the moment. Alan Roden, who's a rookie right now, he's got like a 121 WRC plus right now, and he's playing really, really good outfield defense. They should be getting Nathan Lucas back from the paternity list. He's a lefty bat that they might use at some point during the series. But like you mentioned, it's mostly a right-handed heavy lineup. Roden, like I mentioned, is off to a pretty good start, but that's really the lefty that you probably have to most worry about right now. And then Santander, of course, when he's hitting from the left side of the plate, which he probably will be doing for the majority of this series, of course, because the Mariners only have one lefty. So how you feeling about this series, and what do you see here when you look at this Blue Jays team? What stands out to you?
Yeah, not much power coming from Vladdy and Bo yet. So you'd like to get out of town before that starts up. But yeah, both guys are playing well, but not elite. Vlad, I think, is rocking like a 125 WRC plus, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, 127. He's hitting for a lot of average right now, but yeah, like you said, not a ton of power, just 389 slug right now, just the one homer that he hit against the Braves a couple days ago.
Yeah, so you want to get out of town before that continues. We know that while I don't think this roster is all that good, I don't think it's very well put together, and I think there's a lot of holes in it. They're playing pretty decent ball right now, and they are relatively healthy. So and anytime you go to Toronto, that's always a tough trip. We know that the Jays fans are going to be rowdy, especially on a weekend series and all that. So in the Mariners, regular season wise, it's always a bit of a struggle in Toronto. Not so much in the postseason.
I believe they're 3-6 since the pandemic in the regular season.
So, it's one of those things where it's pretty neutral ballpark, if I'm recalling correctly, in terms of hitter versus pitcher. But yeah, I mean, it's a team. The Blue Jays are going to play good defense. I'll tell you that. I feel really confident that they'll play pretty good defense. Although they don't have Dalton Varsho, who's, arguably the best defender in all of baseball, but they do have Jimenez. Bichette's pretty good. So yeah, they'll play.
In the outfield.
Rodon, like you said. So they're going to play pretty good defense. Old friend Jimmy Garcia is back in Toronto, and he is throwing the ball like the guy you thought you were getting. Imagine that he's healthy and he's throwing the ball well.
Yeah,
but So
you also don't want to get to the ninth inning down because Jeff Hoffman is really throwing the ball well for them right now out of the bullpen.
Mm-hmm. Although, going to the ninth inning down isn't that big of a deal for the Mariners.
It's true. That's true. And I mean, Emilio Pagan was throwing the ball well too before yesterday. So who knows? Old friend Eric Swanson is on the IL right now, so not gonna see him. Dalton Varsho on the IL to start the year after having shoulder surgery last September. Max Scherzer also on the IL with thumb inflammation. We'll get into the pitching matchups in a little bit, but Blue Jays dealing with some injuries, but still a lot of dangerous spots in this lineup. Obviously, Vlad, the stack of Bichette, Vlad, and Santander is as dangerous as it gets.
You want to jump on the starters and the middle reliever guys. There's really not a lot of depth in this bullpen. Again, at least when you look at the big picture, I mean, we're only 19, 20 games in. We're still working with small sample sizes. So that's why a guy like Miles Straw can be dangerous in this series, but overall he's not that dangerous of a hitter anyway. So anything can happen in a 3-game set, and what players are doing right now, probably not what they're going to be doing when they play Seattle in June. I think they come to Seattle. So
they come to Seattle in like a couple of weeks, actually.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, do I think the Blue Jays are a really good team? No. Are they playing pretty good ball right now? Yeah. They're off to a nice start. So, and like you said, the pitching matchups, you're missing you're missing Gossman, you're missing Bassett, and Bassett's off to a tremendous start. So,
the pitching matchups worked out about as well as you possibly could have hoped on paper.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what that's worth. We know what working out on paper really is worth, but I think overall I feel pretty good about this, but this is where I think, banking that series in Cincinnati really does help, because again, 9-game road trip in 10 days, 4-5, 5-4 is really solid road trip. And if you find a way to, do better than that, then it's all gravy. But I think you wanted to avoid disaster on the road, be about a 500 club on the road, and winning 2 of 3 to Toronto, heading into Toronto gives you a little bit of leeway here. But I do like your pitching matchups, and I do think that the offense will continue to produce, quality at bats and give you a really good shot to win these games. I'm a little concerned about the bullpen tonight and how that could affect the rest of the series.
All right, so let's get into the pitching matchups here in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is a reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Mariners and Blue Jays kick off a 3-game set tonight. Brian Wu versus Bowden Francis. It's the pitching matchup. Tomorrow, and this is really what I want to talk about here, according to both the MLB app and the Mariners website, it's Jose Barrios versus Luis Castillo instead of Logan Gilbert. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or if that's actually what's happening here, but if it's not a mistake, Luis Castillo is going to start twice before Gilbert is going to start. little weird. Why do you think they would do that?
I don't know. Tough to say. Maybe they just really want to give Logan that extra day. Maybe Logan's hurt and they're trying to cover it up. I don't know. So, it's such a weird.
Gilbert does pitch on Sunday. It'll be a full week in between starts for him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they just see it as an opportunity to give Logan, a guy who led the league in innings pitched last year, just give him a little bit of extra rest without really, hurting your chances to win. I assume they like Castillo against this Blue Jays lineup, and they probably look at how the pitching matchups lined up, and they're like, okay, like we really like the matchup there, and we feel like we can win that game. But yeah, it's interesting because Luis really struggled his last time out. So I don't know, that's weird. It is kind of a interesting decision if it is actually what's happening, not a typo or miscommunication or whatever. But that is certainly an interesting decision by the Mariners, and I think it's fair to kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, why? Like, why? That's a little suspicious. It's a little fishy. Or I don't know if fishy is. It's unusual though. It's unusual. So
I don't think I've ever seen that before. A guy start twice in between starts for your ace.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure there's probably some like, well, if he starts on Sunday, then that means in 2 weeks he's in line to face the Yankees or whatever, right? Like,
sure.
But even then, that's just like, okay, can't you just do that next time around? Like, because you have that off day, can't you? So I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe Logan's got like a sore back, or maybe he's got like a blister that he's trying to work with or something like that. But it is pretty serious. It is pretty suspicious. I think if it were like a serious injury related thing, we probably would have known about that by now. I don't think that could be kept secret that long in this game. So I suspect it's just about, hey, we have an opportunity to do this and give our guy these little mini breaks in the season. Let's go ahead and take advantage of that. So maybe that's it. But that is odd, certainly.
Yeah. And then if that is the case, then Sunday it'll be Gilbert against Easton Lucas, the lone lefty in the Mariners in the Blue Jays rotation rather, who's starting in place of Max Scherzer. Lucas got off to a pretty nice start in his first 2 outings, but struggled a bit against the Braves his last time out. So I think you have a pretty clear advantage in all 3 of these pitching matchups. The key tonight, though, is just you need Woo to give you 7 like he did his last time out. Like, you really, really need that. And then at that point, it'll be interesting to see what Dan does with this bullpen. Who gets the 8th? Who gets the 9th? Right? And if Woo isn't able to give you
one of them,
Trent Thornton's probably getting one of them. And then does Gabe Spire get the other? Does Casey Legamina get the other? I don't think you can put Troy Taylor in one of those situations after the way he looked on Wednesday.
No. This feels like one of those games that not only does Woo need to get pretty deep, I don't know if he has to go 7, but can you get 6+? That'd be great. Not only does he have to go pretty deep, but the offense probably has to score, 5-6 runs, because I don't trust the guys who are available today are the guys that you certainly don't trust. And, maybe we're overstating who's available and who isn't, but I really doubt they're going to want to push Munoz for 3 days in a row this early in the year. And I doubt they're going to want to do that with Gabe as well. So it does feel like, even though Gabe didn't throw a lot of pitches yesterday or the day before, it's 3 days in a row. Just in general, that's something that a lot of, managers won't do throughout the season. Until you get into September and it's playoff crunch time. So will they be willing to do that in April to try and win game 1 of a 3-game series? Seems unlikely. So,
well, and then at that point, they're probably down for the next 2 games for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's you don't want to punt a game ever, especially when you miss the playoffs by a game like 4 times. But you do still have to be somewhat strategic about it. And it's like, look, I could have Munoz tonight, or I could have him for the next 2. But if Munoz is available tonight and you have a real good shot to win the game in the ninth, you might just say, look, I'll take the one I can get right now, pocket it, and then try and figure it out tomorrow. And hopefully if Wu can go, 6 or 7, then maybe tomorrow Spire's available and everybody but Munoz is available. And then and then I have the off day on Monday. So maybe, Munoz will be available on Sunday because I know he's not pitching on Monday, but blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of little details that we don't know. Like we don't know how everybody's arm's feeling right now. We don't know, somebody's sick and all that. Like there's a bunch of little things we never know about bullpen availability. But yeah, it does seem tonight to be pretty likely that your best reliever who's going to be available, like without any doubt, is Trent Thornton, which so
former Blue Jay, Trent Thornton revenge series.
Sure. You definitely want Thornton facing, Vlad, Santander. I guess it'd probably be Bichette, Vlad, and Santander. You probably, those are 3 guys you want Trent Thornton facing in a tight game. Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, again, like Jimenez has been pretty solid to start the year. Again, he's cooled off, but he's been pretty solid offensively overall. And then Springer's off to an insane start. Like the first 5 hitters in this lineup, bit of a problem, especially for a bullpen that doesn't have its best guys potentially available. So while you have the clear advantage in the starting pitching matchups, you're pretty beat up in the bullpen going into the series. So this is going to be another series, or at least tonight, as far as tonight is concerned, this is going to be another game where the offense probably has to carry, which is a crazy thing to say about the Seattle Mariners, but this offense has been pretty good to start the year. No way around it. Like you look at the numbers, they're not making a ton of contact on pitches inside the strike zone. They're literally the worst team in baseball in that category, but they're also hitting the ball hard with consistency. They're barreling up the ball with consistency, and they're walking a lot, and they're stealing a ton of bases. So, yeah. And I mean, Cal Raleigh is like the hottest hitter on the planet right now.
Yeah. All those things that the offense are doing well right now, pretty repeatable, pretty sustainable as well. So you don't feel like the wheels are going to come up. Now, like Cal's obviously not going to hit 80 homers or whatever he's on pace for right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's on a heater right now. And again, like we talked about yesterday, what's fun about the offense is that it's not like they're this good, and it's not like everybody is hitting. Like Julio had a bad series. Rayleigh had the big home run, but he's kind of been scuffling a little bit. You're not getting anything from first base whatsoever. And yeah, I mean, it is nice to see though that, obviously Demo had a very nice series. You never know what you're going to get with him. I assume he'll be in the lineup today though, because they're going to ride the hot hand, but you never know when that's going to stop and start again. That's kind of the roller coaster ride that is Dylan Moore, everyday player. And JP that actually had a really nice series in Cincinnati, and it looks, I really feel like JP's pretty darn close to going on like a heater, and he kind of is on one right now a little bit. But I think we're going to start seeing him square up the baseball and drive the ball a little bit. The at-bats have been really good for him recently. And, he's starting to get some BABIP luck to go his way, a couple bleeders here and there, finding holes. Yeah. But I feel like JP is getting ready to turn on one here. And just good a time as any, good a series as any to get that home run and kind of start to show some pop. And the batting average has slowly crept well above 200. Which, a week ago he was sitting in the 160, 170 range. So, he's kind of been on a quiet little heater, but it's starting to pick up, and maybe he's playing his way back into being the leadoff guy for a short time. As you try to figure something out with Julio, who is working. Like it is, we're certainly not seeing like as bad of at bats as we've seen from Julio, but he's got to get hits.
It's just still really streaky though.
Yeah. So
still really streaky. Yeah. I mean, he's down to a 103 WRC plus now. His batting average is down to 187. Yeah. I mean, he's got to stop the bleeding, or else, we're going to look back on the overall numbers here at the end of the month and go, yet another bad April for Julio.
Yeah. So, right now you really have Polanco, you have Polo, you have Cal, and you have Randy kind of,
Yeah.
carrying the load. But you're starting to get some contributions. Dylan Moore had a great series. JP Crawford had a good series. Ben Williamson had a nice little series. So
Yes.
you are starting, without Julio, your other guys are picking up the slack quite a bit. So hopefully when those guys start to cool off, it's when Julio has things figured out and this whole offensive run can be a little more sustainable. Like you don't have to score 11 runs every night. I still think with this pitching staff, you score 4 or 5, you're probably going to win most of your games.
Yeah.
Even though the pitching staff really hasn't quite lived up to that yet, but it will eventually. I'm not worried about it.
All right. Well, with that, I am off to the ballpark. Hopefully, this series goes a little bit better than the last 3 regular season series I've gone to at the Rogers Center. Again, the Mariners 3-6 at the Rogers Center since the pandemic. So yeah, it'd be cool to win a couple ball games, keep things going here.
But Ty, you were at game 2.
That's right. I kind of wonder if this is like the last couple of series that I've gone to is like the price that I have to pay for being at that playoff series.
Was it worth it, Ty? Was it worth it?
Yes. Yes.
Ty would rather the Mariners lose every game for the rest of the time than him give up that game 2 experience.
Well.
Yeah, say hi to Gary for me.
No.
And try not to mention game 2 too much.
No,
we're canned from game 2.
We're well removed from that now. We're well removed from that. I've seen Gary a few times
last year too, but okay.
Whatever. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Let us know if you're going to the series down in the comments below. I know a few of you that listen actually live out here in my neck of the woods as well. So if you're going to the series, let me know. And if you see me around the ballpark, feel free to say hi. But for Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Ty Gonzalez and Colby at CPAT11. That's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.